Good morning, all. We will continue the hypothesis testing part. Okay. So, first of all, let me tell you what is the purpose of hypothesis testing and what we actually do in case of a hypothesis testing. You already have the idea about the population, sample, and the inferential statistics. You know that from the observed sample, you take decision about your population, which is actually known as inferential statistics. So when you will be doing the sampling, you will propose some hypothesis which is actually known as alternative hypothesis or research hypothesis, because that is the hypothesis proposed by the researchers. Okay, that suppose some population mean has changed, just like that. Okay, so based on the sampling, you will be taking the decision about your population, or whatever you are observing in the sample. Based on that, you will be taking decision about your population. This is actually the purpose of the hypothesis testing. Now it is important to note that the in case of hypothesis testing, uh, the sampling is very important, because the sample that you pick up, okay, if that observation mm, actually does not reflect the true scenario, then you will be getting into trouble, and it will lead to either type 1 error or type 2 error, which we will discuss later on. So uh, just we take a look at the concept of confidence interval. In case of hypothesis testing, there are different types of tests. For example, F test, ANOVA, Z test, T test. There are lots of tests, but each test has two hypotheses. One is null hypothesis and one is alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis means there is no difference, and alternative hypothesis means the hypothesis that is being proposed by the researcher. So that is actually meant by the alternative hypothesis, and we will explain those things by giving one particular example. Okay, that will be more easier for you to understand. So now the thing is, what is the concept of confidence interval? I have told it previously that in case of confidence interval, suppose you randomly take some samples from a particular population, and you uh, you say about that you randomly take some samples from one particular population, and you calculate the interval. Confidence interval is nothing but a range which depends upon the confidence level. Okay, here you can see in the previous example I told you that 95% confidence interval they calculated from 168.8 to 181.2. This is the confidence, this is nothing but a range. So this is a confidence interval, and this is based on 95% confidence level. Why? Because here in Z they have put it the value of 95% confidence level, that is Z is equal to 1.96. Okay, that value they have taken. So the confidence interval when you are calculating, that is based on the confidence level that you are considering. Okay, and obviously for 95% confidence interval you have got this much of range. If you take it 98% for example, then this range, the spread will be larger. Okay, so this is the concept of confidence interval. Now I am directly then you will be there, some other examples are given. Okay, so I'm not going through this the details of those examples, but straightforward I will be going to a particular example that will be easier for you to understand. Okay, so here is the example. Suppose I have told you that there are different types of tests. Okay, under hypothesis testing, Z test, T test, F test, chi-square test, lots of tests are there under hypothesis testing. So suppose we are considering the Z test. Okay, now which particular test you will perform, that will depend upon the nature of the problem. Okay, so for which case you need to perform which particular test, that we will discuss later. You can see that Z test is actually considered for comparing two population means when population standard deviations are known. For this reason, Z test is performed. Okay, so you just check out this problem. In recent years, the mean age of all college students in city X has been 23. A random sample of 42 students revealed a mean age of 23.8. Suppose their ages are normally distributed with a population standard deviation of sigma is equal to 2.4. Can we infer at alpha is equal to 0.05 that the population mean has changed? This is the problem statement. So here you can see that two population mean you are basically considering. One is the earlier population mean, which was 23, and a new population mean which you don't know. Okay, so those the new population mean you are considering, which is denoted by mu. So that the new population mean is there. You are comparing two population means and population standard deviation. It is known that the population standard deviation sigma is equal to 2.4. So you will be using the Z test. Okay, so the nature of the problem implies that you will be using a Z test. Okay. Now your question will be, what is alpha is equal to 0.05 level? Alpha is nothing but significance level, which is actually which depends upon the confidence level. If the confidence level is 95%, so the significance level will be 0.05. If the confidence level is 98%, the significance level will be 0.02. So basically, the significance level and confidence level, they are just uh, they are vice versa. Any one you can take, they basically reflect the same thing. Suppose instead of alpha is equal to 0.05 means you think that your confidence level is 95%. So the question is that are you 95% confident that the population mean has changed based on your sample evidence? This is the question. The question is, I'm again repeating, the question is, uh, based on your sample evidence, are you 95% confident that your population mean has changed? That means it is not currently, it is not 23, it is something else. Okay, so what they are doing, n is equal to 42, which is the sample size, x bar is equal to 23.8, which is the mean value from the sample, sigma, the population standard deviation, is 2.4. Okay, and this is your null hypothesis. Mu, the population mean, there is no difference. That means the population mean is remain 23. And this is your alternative hypothesis or research hypothesis, which is denoted by H1. The null hypothesis is denoted by H0, and the alternative hypothesis is denoted by H1. So it is you are saying that your population mean has not changed. There is no difference. It remains just like the earlier mean, 23. And here you are saying that your population mean has changed. It has become not equal to 23. So it is, this will be your two-tailed test, because if it is mu greater than 23, if you test, or if you test only mu less than 23, then it will be a one-tailed test. But it can be either the population mean can increase or the population mean may decrease from the earlier of 23. So that's why this is a two-tailed test you are considering here. It's not a one-tailed test. The definition of two-tailed and one-tailed test is given here in the earlier cases. You can go through it, but this is the really very easy way to understand. If there is greater than or less than symbol, then it is a one-tailed test. If there is only not equal to symbol, then it will be two-tailed test. And here they has not you have not been asked that whether the population mean age has increased or decreased. So that's change means it may increase or may decrease. So that's why it will be a two-tailed test. and you are calculating a Z statistic. See, in any kind of hypothesis testing, you need to calculate some statistic. Okay, here the definition of statistic, it is given: a sample statistic is a characteristic of a sample. Okay, statistics is used to estimate the value of, it is a random variable that is calculated from the sample data and used in hypothesis test. For instance, suppose we selected a random sample of 100 students from a school out of 1000 students. The average height of the sample students would be an example of a statistic. So in any kind of uh, exam test, you use a test statistic. Okay, you compare it with some cutoff value as obtained in the table, or nowadays uh, use the software. Okay, and you take decision accordingly. Okay, so your Z statistic has come out to be 2.16. Okay, but at 95% confidence level, your Z value is actually 1.96. Okay, here it is minus 1.96, it is plus 1.96. But your test statistic results comes out to be 2.16, which is greater than the value of 1.96. So since if your test statistic is greater than the cutoff value, which is 1.96, okay, so you will have to, you will reject your null hypothesis. So you will reject your null hypothesis, and alternatively, there you I mean, so you have got the enough evidence that the mean age has changed. You reject the null hypothesis. That means there is enough evidence that the mean age has changed, or there is not enough evidence that the mean age has not uh, remained same. So this is your the result. Okay. So here you are actually rejecting the null hypothesis. So now uh, the question is, the first thing you will ask that how can I know that the value of Z for 95% confidence interval, sorry, confidence level, it will be 1.96. So these actually you will get it from the table. Okay, I have previously told you how these values are actually calculated. Z distribution is nothing but a standard normal distribution. Okay, so this is the function for a normal distribution, probability density function. And in case of Z, you consider the standard deviation will be 1 and your mu will be 0. Okay, so if you integrate it from minus 1.96 to plus 1.96, you will be getting the value of 0.95. Okay, so 95% area it will cover. So uh, from the table, so in this way these values are calculated and the table is actually made. So from that table you can get the values of any confidence interval. For any confidence level you can get the values of the Z. Okay, but uh, actually when you will be performing the test, okay, you actually don't need to do anything at all. Okay. Why? Because uh, and in case of Z, suppose after computing Z, you need to uh, compare it with the value of Z.1.96 after computing the test statistic. You will compare and you will be taking decision. Okay. But in practice, for any kind of test, you will be given, the software will give you a p value. This is applicable for any kind of test. So ultimately, as a result of that this is very convenient in nature, because for example, for in conducting Z test, you need to you when if you use software, if you don't use software, you need to know the formula of Z statistic. For conducting t test, you need to know the formula of t statistic if you do not use software. But nowadays, whenever you will be using software, you don't need to know any formula for computing any statistic. You just need to know that which particular test I will perform. Okay. And the it will provide you the test statistic and also the p value, and you will be looking at just the p value, and your if suppose you have got, in this case you will be getting the p value is equal to 0.03. So what is actually p value? The p value is nothing but the probability of the null hypothesis to become true. It will tell you that, okay, in roughly speaking. So the maximum, here it is telling you that maximum or max to max, the null hypothesis out of 100 observations, the null hypothesis will be true. These chances 3 out of 100 observations, there will be 3 cases where the null hypothesis may be true. Okay, so it is actually basically telling you that. Okay, so you will directly, so now if you are satisfied with it, then you will say that I am, so you can say that 0.03, so that possibility of the alternative hypothesis, it will the true, it is that 97%. So if you are satisfied with that, and if you, since your confidence level, if you want to be 95% confident, and in this case the result is telling you that you are 97% actually confident that your population mean has changed. So you will be definitely rejecting your null hypothesis. Okay. So now here, if you change the same thing here, then the example, in case of example 2, the same thing is happening, but here it is actually there. Here you can see that the alpha is equal to 0.02. That means they are asking that whether you are 98% confident that the population mean has changed. So the answer is no. There is not enough evidence that the population mean has changed at alpha is equal to 0.02 level, or the significance level if it is 98%, because you already know that your confidence level for Z is equal to 2.16. It is actually 96.92% or almost 97% is the confidence level. So you are 97% confident for this problem that your population mean has changed. So obviously it is greater than 95%. So at 95% confidence level, you will definitely reject the null hypothesis. But in this case, in the latter case, you cannot say that I am 98% confident that the population mean has changed. It is because it is the problem statement is like that. It is saying that you are 97% confident that the population mean has changed. Okay. So now let's take a look at the intuition of it. Basically, when you are calculating the Z value 2.16, it is nothing but it is the corresponding standardized value of 23.8. When you are considering the 23 value, here that this is the 23, Z is equal to 0. Okay. In case of Z, when you are standardizing, this is the 23 value. Here it is actually Z is equal to 0. And when you are considering the 23.8, the standardized value of it is 2.16. Okay. So the intuition is that earlier the 95% confidence level for 23, it is from 22.27 to 23.72. This is the confidence level for 23. Sorry, confidence interval. Now for 95% confidence level or the interval 20, you can see that when your sample mean you are getting 23.8, what will be your confidence interval? Your confidence interval will be 23.074 to 24.526. Okay, 23.074 to 23.526. This is your confidence interval for 23.8, which corresponds to 95%. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that if you conduct these kind of experiments for 100 times, then the true mean that will be in between 23.074 to 23.526 for 95 times. Okay, so this is actually the cutoff for the problem statement. Okay, and you are noticing that the 97% of the confidence interval, okay, 97%, this confidence interval will not include the earlier population mean. this is actually the range from 23 to somewhere which is lying between 20, beyond 23.5 to 6. Okay, so this is actually the 97% confidence interval. Okay, so what is your conclusion about the population based on this sampling? Your conclusion is that if we conduct such experiment 100 times, statistically speaking, it is expected that at least 97 ranges or confidence intervals will likely to include a different population mean other than 23. Maximum 3 confidence intervals may include 23 mean. So you can say that you are up to 97% confident that the population mean has changed, but you cannot be 98% sure because there might be one confidence interval which includes 23 mean. Okay, so you can see here that in this particular confidence interval, the 23, it lies beyond this range. Okay. It indicates it is beyond this range. Okay, but in the later case, you can see that 23, this, it is not beyond that, it is within this particular range. You can see here. Okay, so it is now the thing is that so if this is the result, or if your conclusion about population is like that, you can say that you can assume that your population, it looks like somewhat like this. Okay, but here you can see that most of these the confidence intervals, they do not include the earlier population mean, but it may also look like this if your sampling is not proper. For example, suppose if you can see here the red confidence interval, it does not include the true population mean, the mean of 23. So if you do not know, you have no idea that the sampling that you are doing, which particular sample it is, it may be like that, this one. So if you do this, if you suppose if you consider this sample, if you are drawing the data from this sample, then you will infer that 97 times it will not include the true population mean. So but actually you will be rejecting your null hypothesis, but your decision will be actually, it may be uh, it may be wrong. Okay, so this may happen, and so this is actually false positive case or type 1 error. And another thing also may happen, that suppose if you draw the sample from suppose this kind of thing, then you will conclude that the population mean remains the same, but actually it has changed. Population mean, you will conclude the population mean do not change, but it has actually changed. So this is false negative or type 2 error. These things you need to take consider in your mind. Actually, here the intuition is very important. In these kind of problems, basically you are asked that from these sampling, are you 95% or 98% sure that the current population mean is different from 23? So to answer this question, you need to check how much confidence level it will cover from 23.8, which is the current sample mean, to 23, or just before 23. So it doesn't include the mean of 23 itself, considering both the sides. So you see that you are almost 97% confident about it. Okay, from 23, just before, sorry, not just before, just after 23, just after 23. So you can see that here, just after 23 to 23.8. Okay, if you consider this particular range from 23 to 23.8 and the same area here, it will come out to be almost 97%. Okay, so out of 100 times, out of 100 confidence intervals, 97 confidence intervals, if you do 100 experiments, then out of 100 experiments, it is statistically speaking, it is expected that 97 confidence intervals will not include the earlier population mean of 23, and the rest of the 3, which is actually, if you take this area and this area and if you then sum it up, then you will be getting the 3% value. So maximum in case of that, at least 97% area it will cover here. So at least 97% cases out of 100 confidence interval, you will be getting that there will be no mean includes 23, and the rest of the 23 cases it will be there. So minimum, so maximum for 3 cases it will be, it will include the 3 confidence intervals, which will include the earlier population mean of 23. Okay, so this is actually the intuition. So thank you all. Thanks for attending.